Hey everyone, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Alright. 1 segundo. Un segundo. Oh! Okay, there we go. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Oh no. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Issues with expression and stuff. How's everyone doing? Let's go to the living room real quick. Alright. Okay. For 1 second, I don't know why. For some reason, like, every time I boot up VTube Studio, it never, like, it always loads up my model. But today, it didn't. And it, like, reset a few things, and I had to, like, fuck around a little bit. But I think we should be good for now. Let me go over and see the chat. Yeah, your mom wants to learn about the CSPs. She wants to learn all about it. So I'm doing two things. So it's a two-pronged attack. We're doing first is we're literally just going to look at the program at Clip Studio Paint, which is the program that I use to draw, and I think it's a phenomenal tool. And hi. And I think it's good that we just look at it. I'm not going to draw because I'm going to open it on my computer. Because if I open it up on the iPad, a lot of you are going to get confused. Because it's like, it's mostly the same, but there are going to be some differences. And I think it's important that we just look at the base version on Windows. I think I used the Mac version like a long time ago. But I don't use Mac. I'm not a Mac user. I think I'll just put it politely. So let's. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna show you like around the program and stuff and explain how things work with it. Yeah, I think it's important that people learn about this program. And I'll just talk a little bit about. I'm not gonna say like about its history or whatever. Also, full disclosure: this is not advertisement or anything. That I really love this program, but Celsius, if you want to pay me to promote your shit, hit me up. I'll sell out. I'll sell out like a little bitch. But anyways, I love this program. And a lot of people have been well, not a lot of people. A few people have been asking me how to operate it. And I think I want to change people from Photoshop or whatever, like stop using Adobe. That's what I want people to do, to stop using Adobe. There's so many better alternatives to Adobe products like this one that are not subscription based, and I think I want people to jump ship. And I have coffee today, potatoes here. I'm gonna be practically home alone for most of the week. I still have like people staying over, but yeah, I have to take care of the house and stuff like that for like a week. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and I think Spyro music doesn't get claimed, so I think I should be safe to play Spyro music. Spyro music. Okay. For the love of fuck. Okay. So I'm going to move over to the media room. Let's see. So it's putting. I have so many tabs. Okay. It's going to be quiet for a second. Windows capture. Where is Clip Studio Paint? All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So, I'm going to move you guys over here to the center just because there's going to be some things that you need to see. Or actually, let's make this smaller. Put it up here. There we go. And I'm going to make myself smaller just for this instance. Mom, you're going to have to go small. Don't know what this is. What are you? Okay, well. Mom, go small. What the fuck is this? Image 3? Oh. What are you? Oh. Okay. Oh. It's nothing important. So. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it big. I think it's better. Okay. So. I'm going to put you guys here in the center. I'm not going to put up any drawing or anything. I am literally just going to... 1 second. Let me lower the volume here. I need to look up YouTube in library. Okay. Okay. So, let's play music. Alright, so we're going to operate this based on the assumption that you know nothing about this program, that you are not, that I am smart and you are not. This is how we're going to operate this ship, and I am going to keep things extremely simple for you to follow. And just kind of go over like the neat functions of this program. So this particular program is kind of like a combination of Manga Studio and Ilu Studio. Ilu Studio was like the Japanese, the original Japanese version of Manga Studio. Illustration Studio was the way they imported over to the West, and for many years it operated as two different like entities, two different programs. One was updated more frequently than the other, blah blah blah. And you used to like remember CDs and stuff like that. That's how you used to get this program until like they did the downloads and stuff. Like I even had a copy for the Mac when I used to own a Mac, and it's a decent program. I was just using Paint Tool Sci back then, and so I was just like, I have no reason to use this program, yada yada. Anyways, the first thing you gotta know about this program is that it's better than Photoshop because it opened and it didn't crash. It's been open the entire time I've had the stream on, and it has not crashed. From that perspective, it's already better than Photoshop. The second thing why it's better than Photoshop is that there's no paid subscription unless you have it on the iPad, or I guess like Android. Now that's out on Android, but there's technically no paid subscription. Like if you buy the program, you get it, and they typically have like the. I'm gonna look up the prices because they might have spiked. Clip Studio Paint price. So okay. This program has two versions. This program has two versions. It has the Pro and the EX. It goes on special all the fucking time, like 50% off every like twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. You can also, like, here's the thing. There are ways for you to get, they started adding monthly usage package, but it's like definitely worth to just buy it. Don't, like, if you can buy this program, don't subscribe. Just because, like, it's better to own the program or whatever. But I mean, it really is up to you. It's like $6 a month. Let me open up. You know what? I guess you guys should see. So window capture 2. Where's Vivaldi? Okay. So let's go over here. Wait, which one's which? Okay. So here, let me show you this. So you can see over here. Let's start from debut. You cannot, like, this isn't so, like, you can't get it. It's bundled normally with with something, or they give it out for free for whatever. But it's like normally like it's a trial version or something like that. It's not. Don't worry about that if you see it somewhere. The Pro is generally recommended for everybody. It's not expensive. It's $50, and like, sure, like, I get it. Not a lot of people have $50, but it's if you're gonna use this a lot, it's definitely worth the money. And you'll see later why. But there's 2 times. I don't know what the package version is. I think it's like the box version. Not worth it. Just get the download version. You get 2 keys or 3 keys or something like that. You can have it like on 2 computers at the same time. Yada yada. The monthly usage plan you see here is if you are going to have it on the iPad or like a portable thing. And also if you want to use it like, if you don't want to buy the whole thing and you just want to pay like a monthly fee, that's up to you. And then you have Clip Studio EX, which is if you're going to be a professional that's going to be doing a lot of animations, you're going to be doing a lot of comics. It's an amazing, like, the EX. If you're gonna like live off art, you have to get the Clip Studio Paint EX. Like, if you don't, like, even if you think you're not gonna do animations or comics in the long run and you're just gonna get it, trust me, get it. There's a lot of like tools for it that you're gonna want. So let me show you the differences. So here you see the differences between, let's see the full feature comparison here. So you have the debut, the Pro, and the EX. Let's look at the features that Pro has, EX has, just for professionals, that EX has over the Pro. So all side view palette, I don't remember what this was. So let's see. Oh, here's another thing. This is extremely important. Why you should tell Photoshop to go fuck itself is because you can import Photoshop brushes. So you know the ABR extension, for those of you that use Photoshop, you can bring those brushes over to Clip Studio and it will read them normally. Even with its textures and stuff like that, you don't have to worry, like, it'll naturally read them. So already, like, come on, it opens, it doesn't crash, there's no paid subscription unless you want to. It reads its brushes, and it reads PSD files. So already, like, we're a huge leg up. So let's see. Foil layer, I don't use this. Remove tones, I don't. This is, I think, a new feature. I don't remember this. Okay. Story editor. Okay, this is like, story editor is if you make a comic and it's like, let's say you can set an amount of like pages. Like, let's say you make 18 pages. I'll show you in a bit. You can manage it and you can see how the story is going and stuff like that. It's an incredibly useful tool for people who are comic artists. 2D light rendering function. Like, this program uses 3D. and you'll see how amazing 3D is in this. Yeah, you see, manage multi-page work. So like if you're a comic artist, you can manage all your pages, spread out, manage work information, sort page file names, teamwork, like you can work with other people. So if you're a comic artist and you have someone that does lines, another one that does colors, or you do the writing, you can work with other people. So it has a teamwork function. You can export multiple pages at the same time. You can print multiple pages at the same time. Manage the group work. Webtoon functions, export Webtoon. Export in Kindle format. Export in EPUB. And export in PDF format. Now this is extremely important. PDF format is what when you print, when you send it out to a printer or some like a Dojin printer, comic printer, whatever, they typically use PDF format. And this is only available on the XE. So this is like if you're gonna be a comic artist full time on this thing, you have to get it. Otherwise, it's incredibly annoying having to like open a new page and like try to sort it yourself. This does it all for you. So yeah, for animation, you know, there's a ton of functions. Yeah, typically the reason why I would recommend getting EX is three things. One, I support the devs. This is an amazing tool that gets updated frequently. They add amazing features all the time. Their support is incredible. There's a huge community for it where people... Oh my god. Potato! 1 second. And so, okay, EX, like, typically support the devs. Like, they update this program all the time. They add functions. They listen to the community. There's a huge community thing where people make materials and you can share them. I'll show you in a second. There's story management. You can work with teams and collaborate and stuff like that. And then the third, for animation, they give you unlimited... the EX is the only version that allows you to have multiple frames or like unlimited frames. Pro locks you onto like 30 frames. Like it locks you on the amount of frames that you can work on. It's something weird, but it's to push you to buy the EX, and I understand. And that kind of sucks. But if you're gonna animate and you're gonna work on comics, like focus on buying the EX. And if you can only like afford a subscription, get it for a while, and when you can afford the EX, buy it. And so again, 1 second. I recommend you go check out the product lineup after this stream and just check out the prices and stuff like that. But oh my god, give me 1 second. Okay, so let me talk about okay, let's go to the community tab. Here's something that so they have this thing where it's incredibly simple to access it. You make your account and stuff like that, and you can ask questions. And the best thing it has is that these are auto-translated. So whatever language, like say it's in like your original language is Japanese or English, it'll be translated for the person that's responding. Typically not perfect, but it's auto-translated. So you can ask anything and see like pen sensitivity, line breaks when drawing, 3D modeler, like they have different questions and stuff like that you can ask. Like for example, this one's in Korean. I can't download material, but it's translated. So if I click on it, it's auto-translate. My pen is gone, so I try to download again, but the error, netcode error, is the idea of the Clip Studio side on the Safari. Please make sure. See, like people respond and everything. So it's, you know, there's a community for this, and it's amazing. So let's go to another thing that's great about this. For Photoshop and like other programs, you gotta hunt down this like materials and stuff like that. But for this program, you can find things like top free, for example. They give you like, let's look at some amazing materials that we can find just by browsing the free section. Like you have a crystal, like let's check the G pen I saw. Like look at this nice pen. It's out for free, and see, this is nice. Like, and then it recommends different types of brushes. Like even Clip Studio promotes a few amazing brushes from creators. So yeah, let's see. Let's see another one. So typically, oh, this one. I think I have this one. Yeah, so they give you like, you know, and let's say home. So let's go. I want to type flower, and look at all these things. You'll find there's never not a thing that you won't find in here. And I'll point something out really quick. You see where you see like 100G and 350 CP. So 100 gold and 100 clippy points, or like gold and clippy points, they're kind of like the currency for Clip Studio. And these are paid things. Obviously, like if you, some people, it's within their right to put up materials for sale, and clippy points are only bought through using gold, and you can only buy gold using real world money. Not like I'd say like about 90% of the stuff in the asset store is free. However, if there's a material that's pretty good and it's for sale, don't feel like, if you don't have the money, I understand. But if you're able to, support the creator of like, because there's like some amazing, like let me show you. Like look at this. These materials. This person went through the trouble of making all these Japanese patterns, for example. Much like you support artists by buying commissions, or stuff like that, support creators for like materials that they make and stuff like that. It's I do it because there's some times where like they've saved my hide. Actually, I'm saving this for later because I do want to check that out later. But anyways, that's it for the back end stuff. So let's check out the program itself. Now, Mom's gonna go sit behind me so that you guys can see. She's gonna go here. Okay, so let's go here. So I'm gonna start with this. Okay. Now, this is the basic interface. Gosh, let me see, where do I start? I didn't really properly plan for this, but why don't we start at the beginning and check out the tools. So here we have, let me open up everything. All right, let's start here. So here we have, one second. I want to make sure that, okay. So here we have, let's start with the tools. So this comes with a zoom tool, right? And let's look at typically what goes on when you select a tool. You have the tools here or like subset of tools. So I'm gonna go instead, like, okay, so for example, if you pick this, you have on the pens, you have the G pen, the calligraphy, a shit ton of different types of tools. You can put anything anywhere, but typically you want to keep things grouped by the type of tool that they are. So if it's a pen that you got off the market, maybe you want to drop it in pens so you don't put it accidentally in brushes and you're like, where the fuck is this pen? I need to do this line art. Then you don't get confused. But you do you, right? I'm just giving you like recommendations. So typically when you select a tool, you have something here called down tool properties, and you can see the types of things. So anti-aliasing, none, weak, medium, and strong. What that would look like would be something like, so if you have no anti-aliasing, it looks like that. With a little bit, let's zoom in for a little. With a little bit, I keep it here typically. So, you know. Then stabilization, well, this is pretty high. I don't know why I kept it that way. You know, I'm not using a tablet at the moment. I'm using my mouse because it's just more simple. Yeah, but yeah, sorry. Yeah, you guys are in the center. Let's move you guys here for the moment. So let's go back. Yeah, and then within the pens, like you have categories within your subtools. So there's a lot of organization here. So here you have the marker and that kind of stuff. And I can't show you how to operate these tools mostly because I'll show you in the iPad later, but a lot of these tools you have to discover for yourself and experiment. I can't basically teach you how to art without you experimenting and stuff like that, because a lot of tools you can use them for different reasons. But you know, there's a lot of great tools like the calligraphy, which I use to do my signature. Another great tool is like the delete button. It'll yeet anything that's within the canvas, or if you have like a selection, anything within that selection. This is up here, of course. You have delete outside of selection. It'll yeet anything out of the selection, obviously. You have the fill tool, which if you don't have any selection, it'll just fill the entire page. But if you have a selection made, you have the transform tool, which is, you know, if you know how the transform tool works, it'll just, you know, whatever you have selected or, you know, unselected, it'll do things. Let's go back to selection. So here you have deselect, which obviously deselects whatever you have. You have invert selected area, which will invert your selection. Show border of selected area. Now this I don't recommend unless you want just to see what you have selected, or if you deselect that, you know, I normally keep this on because I'm kind of forgetful, and sometimes I'll deselect it and then just like get really pissed off because like it's not drawing outside of an area that I want, and then I realize, oh, it's because like I have a selection done. But if you forget, when these buttons are on, it means that there's this area that's selected. So if you don't know where your selection is, you can just go ahead and click there and then it'll deselect. But or click here and then try to find where you selected. Now, these tools over here, snap to ruler, snap to special ruler, snap to grid. CSP has something called rulers, which I don't remember if Photoshop does, but you have something like a linear ruler, for example, and it'll make a line, but it's not like when you export this, it's not going to show up. It's there just as a visual reference for you. When you export it, it's not going to show up in any way, shape, or form. And if you have this thing selected, this is what it's going to happen. See? It'll draw within the line, the confines of the line that you draw if you're using the linear ruler. There's tons of rulers that do different things, so I'm just going to show you typically the ones that I use. I don't ever use the linear unless I absolutely have to, because I'll show you what I do in a little bit. So you have curve ruler, which obviously, you know, and if you have that selected, you know, see, it's incredible. Like, you know, if you want something to be the way you want it, you can set up the ruler. So, you know, typically it's great for drawing curves that are really hard to do, which I need to start using more. So another thing that's important that I'll make a new layer just for that about this. You have the figure ruler, which you have. I love figure ruler because if you're doing something in perspective, this will help you. So, for example, you have this circle here, right? And you want that to. There you go. Why would you not just use the figure line? Well, if you're drawing an object that's not, well, there's typically two reasons why. Sometimes you might not need to draw the entire circle. Sometimes you just need, like this to do whatever, and you just need this to show, right? That's one of the reasons why you would need that. And the special ruler and the figure ruler helps with that. I mean, obviously there's so many shapes that you can put. You know, I'm not going to go through every setting because there's like, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, and I'm trying to sell you on this program because I want you to buy this because I love this program, and I want you to ditch Photoshop or ditch Paint Tool Sci, because Paint Tool Sci is a good program, but it's outdated, and I think people need to switch to something that's good. So let's see. You have the ruler pen, which the ruler pen is basically just for you to draw the lines however the hell you want. And, you know, within the confines of whatever you want to make. Okay. Let's go back to the rulers. You have the special rulers. Pay attention because special rulers is another subcategory. And within that, you have stuff like parallel line, which if you do this, you know, for people that are drawing things from the front side or from the top, you'll have something. It'll help you draw things in a parallel order. So if you're doing a pattern that needs to be drawn parallelly, this is the tool for you. Another tool that's amazing within the special ruler. So parallel curve, you know what that does. Like, I don't need to explain. Multiple curve. If you need multiple curve lines, you know, it's the same thing with the curve ruler. Radial line. Now, radial line is impressive because, well, I mean, I'll just let it speak for itself. So you know those action lines in manga where you have like the and it's like focusing on a single radial point? That's what this is for. I'll show you an example of that better on the iPad, but for now I'm just keeping, I'm not using a tablet because this is on my PC and I don't want to break out my old tablet. concentric circle. So concentric circle. What's the difference between this and the circle rule? Well, when you have it snapped to ruler, what it'll do is, well, let me show you. It'll draw concentric circles, obviously. So this tool is great for when you need to draw, I don't know, you know, whatever you figure you need to draw. Yeah. So in the figure, the thing about the figure and the difference between concentric is that it snaps specifically to the confines of this. It doesn't. It won't acknowledge the circle. That's what the snap to ruler is. Snap to ruler will like snap it to the ruler. If you have a special ruler, like the concentric circle one, it'll snap right onto it. But if you turn it off, you know, it's not snapped to it. So let's turn these back on. And snap to grid, I'll show you what that is in a bit. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, back to rulers. One last one. Perspective ruler. If you're working on perspective, that thing allows you to like draw a perspective. And so you can work on any kind of perspective that you want. But there's an even better way to set up a perspective. And within that, you have like vanishing point or whatever. And if you don't know how to work on perspective, that's something that you're going to have to learn on your own time, pretty much. And lastly, but not least, I mean, you have symmetry ruler, which is also a tool that I use a lot. And that is, for example, you have, you have something like this. So if you're working on a face, or you need something that needs to be specific, if you're drawing a face, let me be clear about something. Use it for the sketch. Don't use it for the line work, because when you draw, when you line something with 100% like mimicry, like symmetry, it looks uncanny, and you don't want to do that. Like you can do like the shape of the face in a sketch, and then when you do the line, try to like do it manually. Because typically faces won't look okay if you do them they'll look uncanny. Because like people aren't symmetric. Okay, so that's enough of rulers, I think. Oh yeah, one last thing. So you have a ruler, literally like a ruler, where it'll tell you the measurements depending on the. So if you make a new document, it'll give you units, pixels, inches, millimeters, centimeters. PT, I forgot what it was. And the ruler will show exactly that. The unfortunate thing is that it doesn't have like a snap feature where it'll like snap to the center of the thing, like Photoshop or some Adobe products do. That you have to like guesstimate and stuff like that. There's like, I don't remember if there's an arrange function or not, but I don't think there is. So let's see. Okay, so let's move on to something that's well, you have to, okay, something that's kind of unique to this app is the balloon icon. So you have Eclipse balloons for dialogue that you can make and add, you know, whatever you want to it, and then you'll write text like haha pee pee. And keep in mind that when you have a eclipse balloon, curved balloon, or a balloon drawn, and you use text over it, it'll make it on that specific layer, and it will work within that confine. And then you can edit it using the operation object. You click on it directly and move it around, but it's still on that layer. It's not on a different layer. But if you see here, you have a layer. Let me see if you can see that. So here you have like a layer. This is a raster layer, which means it's not a vector or anything. Text is considered vector, so it'll make a new layer. So you see here that it made a new layer. Haha PP. So this is considered a vector layer for CSP. And we're going to talk about vector layer in a second. Let's see. You have your line tool, which, you know, should be self-explanatory. Here's an amazing tool that I want you to remember called the lasso fill. The lasso fill is a tool that if you make a selection, it'll fill it. You don't have to do like a selection or anything. It'll just fill in the area you circle or the area you know, squiggly around. For one thing, you don't have to complete the circle. It'll auto-complete it. So if you go like this, right? It makes it so that if you do, it's better, like let's say you have a drawing. And you have a situation, well, let me add like something. And you have like a situation where you want this to be filled in. The entire thing to be filled in one color. Oh, you see this here? Paint bucket didn't fill it in. However, the lasso tool circumvents that. Obviously, it's not perfect because you'll have like some stuff that you need to circle, but you won't have the you're not gonna get, for example, this particular issue. Like even if it were to fill out, you have that. With the lasso tool, you'll get something, you know. And this is better because you won't get artifacting or anything under your lines. Okay. Another thing that's pretty good about CSP is the patterns. There's a million patterns, and if I show you this, you know, you'll kind of guess the type of patterns there are. There's a line type. There's a airbrush type. Well, not this one. There's the airbrush type. And I mean, there's tons of materials, and this is something that, you know, it has a ton of practical use. But yeah, materials are amazing for a lot of things, you know. It's up to you to discover like what these are, or like if you don't like what it has or you need something specific, you can look for it in the Show Clip Studio and Open Assets. All right, let's see. So let's talk about raster layers, and this is something that most of you are going to adore. So if we go to vector, okay, let's talk about vector and raster layer. Raster layer is something that's just rendered immediately. What happens with rasters is that there's going to be artifacting if you make it something bigger. So you see here that it's kind of blurry. It's artifacted. It's lost its original quality, and now it's shite, basically. You don't want that typically unless the drawing's super huge and you're gonna pay over it. But you know, people can notice the artifacting sometimes, and you don't want to. Basically, with raster layers, you're gonna end up correcting a lot or erasing a lot, or basically you want to get it going on the first go. You don't want to keep resizing because it's gonna kill the quality of whatever you're working on a raster layer. Like the lines will look like shit. However, if you erase it, you know, it'll be fine, but you obviously want to avoid resizing so much because it's going to kill the quality. So let's talk about vector layers. Now that we've spoken. Okay, so in a vector layer, assuming that you know what vectors are, when you draw, a vector is something that no matter how big or small you make it, or what the hell you do with it, it will not lose its original quality. So let's say I draw this line. You remember how it artifacted and it lost its original quality when I made it big? Well, what the hell? This looks crisp. This is the crispiest line I've ever seen. And that's because it's a vector. It doesn't lose its original quality. It'll remain, no matter how big or small, it'll stay within its original quality. And one advantage that Clip Studio has over all the other programs is that it has tools for vector drawing. And what the hell is that, you may ask? So you see these tools here. So you have correct line, remove dust, and I'll explain what remove dust is later. So control point, you see all these lines here. You can control the vector point. So if you're familiar with Adobe Illustrator, this is much better than that. And now, I've edited my line. Pinch vector line. I don't remember what this was. Let's skip over it. I'm not going to confuse you. Simplify vector line. So, you saw how many fucking points there was? Well, allow me to show you what simplify vector line does. Wow. It made it crispier and smoother. It's less jaggedy. Let's check the lines. Wow, there's less vector points, so which means is that simplify vector line gets your point across in less amount of vectors. So it'll erase vectors that are what it assumes pointless to have, and it'll simplify the line so it looks smoother. Connect vector line. So let's say you have two lines that you drew that didn't connect, right? Well, what that will do is that you just do this. Oh, 1 second. There we go. There you go. See? It connected the line. So typically, or like normally when you draw, you have like, sometimes you'll draw like that, and maybe you'll forget, you know. Maybe you'll forget to connect this line and you're like, oh shit, I forgot. Instead of like racking your brain, just do that. Or, you know, maybe not so rough. There you go. What does redraw vector line does? Like, instead of like editing the point like that, you can just use this to maybe move it to your liking. You know, it's a little unwieldy, so you need to be careful on how you use it. Correct line width. So this will correct certain points of the line. So if you have this, it'll you see how it's getting smaller? Let's bump this out so you can see the difference. So you see how it's getting smaller? This entire segment, it's considered one line, and it'll redraw it, or it'll redraw as far as you go. So if you take the brush all the way here, it'll narrow it there. Or if you go scale up with, you know, it'll scale up the parts that you draw over it. Or scale down with, you know, thicken is another option. And let's see. If you check process whole line, it'll do this. Fix width will process the entire line and we'll set it to a specific thickness. So if you go to 25 with the process whole line check, you know, it'll set it at 25 pixels. But if you go this way, okay, if I don't press process the whole line, it'll just process a specific part. There you go. You see? Now, redraw vector line, we saw it's unwieldy. Redraw vector width. So you remember how we were talking about vectors, right? The points. So what redraw vector does is that between two vectors, it'll correct the length. So you want, so typically if you want to correct 2 points without having to fuck with the whole line or having to use this to be precise, if you want to be even more precise, you can use this to correct it. And it'll do it gradually. It won't just be like, haha, like cut down the middle. It'll like, you know. So you see? Okay. What is remove dust? So when you draw, sometimes you'll have like little dots here and there. With remove dust, it was something like, yeah, it was something, I don't use that a lot, but it was something like that. I will research that and get back to you on what that was. Here's one thing that I want to show you that's important on layer properties. So on layers, you have a few things that you can add them. When you have a ruler added to it, let's select it. The ruler will disappear normally. If it's a special ruler, it will normally disappear if you select out of it. But if you select it, but let's keep in mind that this is selected. If you hold shift and click on the ruler, it'll hide the ruler while you work on it. If you click it again, it'll pop up again. And if you right click it, it'll give you options. So if you go show ruler, delete ruler, link to ruler, show in all layers. When it says show in all layers, it means that this ruler will be active in all layers. So even if you click outside of it, you'll be able to still see it. It depends on what you're working on or what you worked on, but just for the sake of it, I clicked out of it and it's still there, you see? And if I draw, but it won't be locked out. You see? It'll when it shows in other layers, you work like if you draw on it, it'll lock to it. However, if you put not show in all layers and show only when editing target, it won't show up, and you're back to square one. Okay. Let's see what else is important. So let's remove this. Here's one important thing about vector layers. So one thing you can't do on vector layers is fill. You cannot use the fill tool. You cannot use the lasso tool, the lasso fill tool, and because it's all these are considered vectors, and fills are not considered vectors. You cannot fill a solid collar and consider it a fill. Like when you do ellipses, they have to be circles only. You can't do like this entire rectangle filled because it's not considered a line or a vector. So you have to be careful. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, I can't make this like full rectangle. No, this is typically only used for vector lines, not for fills or anything. So once you have the vector you want, so I'll show you something that's also important. Mask layer. If you're not familiar with a mask layer, there's two types of things that you can do with a mask layer. Mask layer is exactly that, masking, to hide something. If you use white or transparency, it'll hide. Oh no, if you use a transparency or the eraser, it'll erase this, right? However, if you haven't technically erased it, you're masking it. You're masking certain parts. So if I were to disable the mask layer, it'll come back on. But if I enable it, it hides these parts. But if I want to bring certain parts back, I just paint over it, and it'll bring it back. There we go. Now, another important thing, sorry, that CSP has is the ability to set a layer as a reference layer. What that means is that when you have a reference layer, it'll reference whatever is on it. So any tool that uses, let's for example, take the fill tool for example. Refer to multiple layers, to other layers other than the active layer. The active layer is what's considered the layer that you're working on currently, is the active layer. Any other layer is just not a not active layer. So what this is asking is that is the fill tool gonna refer to other layers while it's active? And you can set it to different, and like some other tools do this as well, or have this feature. So it says all layers, so it'll reference all layers. So if you have like typically this is annoying, and be careful when you choose this, but if you have set as a reference layer, any layer that's set as a reference layer with this icon that you see here, the fill tool or whatever tool that you're using will take into consideration the reference layer. And if you're on a different layer and you go to fill, watch what happens. Oh, it took into consideration the closed areas or the lines or whatever was on the other layer into consideration, and it filled based on that, and because it's a reference layer. However, there's another important thing that we need to consider when we're talking about so there's another thing that we need to consider when talking about layer fill, and this is one of the last few things I'm going to talk about. So let me erase here. Oh, there's something important that I need to show you before I move on. So let's say I wanted to do something like that, right? and I'm like, ah, shit, I don't like these lines. Let me talk about a little bit more about vectors. So you're like, ah, shit, this looks ugly, or you drew within a ruler, but you don't want all these lines and like on the outside. You see this little vector thing here in the eraser tab. If I click on it and I go, whoop, what just happened there? What's going on? Oh my god. It's deleting all these lines, but it's not deleting the entire line. So what happens is that the vector eraser tool has different functions. So erase touched areas, erase up to intersection, and erase whole line. When it has erase into intersection, it'll any touching points, like you see here, it'll erase anything between these touching points, the next touching points. For example, here, let's do it on the inside. So between this point and whatever other next point there is, it'll erase everything. So if you do this, it erased everything between this vector point that was intersecting with another vector point, and here, the next intersection between this vector point and this little one here. See? It's incredibly useful for when you're doing lines and stuff like that and you want to clean up, especially if you're doing backgrounds. It's incredibly useful. So let's go back to the let's go back to the, and obviously if you select like whole line, you know, it'll delete the entire thing. Okay, I'm gonna put it back here just in case I don't fuck it up. Okay, so let's say you didn't close the entire line. Let's say you have a little fraction, just a small fraction here that you didn't close, and you go to fill whatever color. CSP will automatically close the gap, or the tool will automatically close the gap, and it'll give you something like outpouring here or whatever. And typically, depending on how wide the gap is, you can set this tool to like take it into consideration. At 1 or not considered, it just fills the entire thing. However, if I bump it up a little bit, it considered it as closed. If the gap was wider, for example, like here, this ain't gonna work. However, what if I bump it up to here? What if I bump it up to here? Okay, okay, I guess the gap is a little too wide. So what we want to do is go over here, close it down a little bit. Let's go back to the fill. Okay, there you go. Considered close. One final thing before I let you ask questions is you can find a lot of neat image material for CSP, like this, for example. So if you're working on a manga and you don't want to do the background and you're like, I'm kind of lazy, I'll find something online or whatever, fuck it. Let me show you. There's a lot of amazing tools for that. And let's say, you know, you can use this image panel, and let's say you have like a comic page and you only need like a certain part visible for like a talking scene. Open a mask layer. And just move shit around. Nope. There you go. Something like that. Another amazing tool for CSP is the 3D models. So let me grab no, this one's kind of lame. Okay, let me show you the classroom model. So let's say you're working on a background and you're like, ah, shit, I don't know. Actually, this might not be a good example because the zoom in and out is kind of weird. Let me, yeah, let's put the train station. So you have this train station, for example. You know, you have like the camera angles. You know, you can move it around, set it the way you want. And the amazing thing about the 3D tools is that no matter what position you put it, no matter what perspective your thing is, it will automatically make perspective rulers for it. What does that mean? For example, you see this X over here? It's not showing the rulers that it's using to make the perspective, but if I click on it, oh my god, what is this? An entire perspective ruler grid made, and I don't have to lay down the law. And what does that exactly look like when I draw? Well, let's say you want to forgo this thing and you want it to only use the background to make this 3D model to make a perspective out of it, right? So let's move it over here. Let's yeet this thing, and you have a grid basically made, and you can make whatever you want on your own perspective. And it's incredibly useful for building backgrounds. Really, really, really useful. And even when you go to line ed or to paint or whatever, it's incredibly helpful, because then you can put down your own lines and stuff like that. Finally, not just backgrounds, but it has, so let's say you're struggling with a specific pose. Oh my god, it's a 3D model, and it comes included with this thing. So you have a model, automatically puts in listen, these are the perspective tools. This one moves the model around in the specific perspective that it's in, and it'll move it around. So you have a background already pre-built, and you just need the character to be in a specific position. This is what this is for. But going back to what's important, these are the three perspective. It'll move in and close and far. You know, move the entire perspective, change the perspective. And another neat thing is that it does like a fisheye effect, but you don't want to. You want to be careful with that. Okay, so. Let's say you have your model. You can position it any way you want. Like, you know, if you have a pose that you're struggling with, you can just change it to your liking, perspective, you know. Let's say I want to do this. So now you have the pose that you want. Right? Now you have the pose that you want. And so, you know, and let's say you want to build a background entirely around the character, or use it, or in the same perspective the character is. Guess what? You got an entire perspective built upon that as well that you can use. And you can move your lines up to wherever you want. And it's double dabbing. It's dabbing with its legs and its arms. And now you can do something like, because this is kind of like a vector as well, you want to go and rasterize it. And now it's a raster layer. It doesn't take much of your memory. And, you know, you can lower the opacity, and then you can draw, you know, you can draw on top of it. No, okay, this is the pose that I wanted. And don't use it to trace. Try to use it to like help you fix whatever anatomical issues you might be having, or like to build a pose. But try not to trace it, because it's not like a 100% whatever. But yeah, okay, so here's where snap to grid comes in. You see that there's a grid built. It'll snap to it, to the lines within the grid. It will not let you draw in between the grid lines. However, turn that off and set it to snap to ruler, and it'll, okay, no, special ruler, sorry. And there you have it. Now you can build your perspective. Making sure I know this. If I adjust the raster size layer, it starts to decrease in quality. Vector layer doesn't have. Vector layer will never lose quality, no matter what you do with it. You can shit on it. You can cramp it up. You can do whatever you want. It will never lose quality. And yeah, so, you know. There you go. Screen cap it if you want. Oh yeah, you need to be. I need to be careful about the bot. Yeah. Time out for 5 seconds. Yeah, sorry about that. You need to be careful about. I need to be careful with the bot and the emote spam, because it'll check for like emote spams. Chat's in the way. There's your screen cap. Okay, so now, Are you gonna share this masterpiece on Discord? I could. Why not? Okay. One last thing that I want to show you guys. Is these tabs here. I mean, there's a ton, like, it would take days for me to show you like everything. You know, you have your animation tab, you have the story tab to manage works. You have, I'm showing you like the basic stuff that you need to know for this. But this is like, the well runs deep with this program. There's so many fucking things that you can do with this program. And I'm only like beginning to scratch the surface, and people get incredibly creative with this. And I think like, this is one of these programs that you like, you gotta relish in the experimentation and trying to look for materials and stuff like that, because it's an incredibly powerful tool. So let me see. Here you have layer property, which allows you to change different things, add effects and stuff like that. This I don't use. You know, search for layer. You can turn off layers that are like 3D. They have this, they have that. This is for people that have like 250 layers and they don't want to like look for whatever. They're like, ah, fuck, I need to find this layer or whatever. This is for animation. I don't use animation a whole lot, so I can't talk too much about it. Here we have the animation tab. We have the history tab, which, you know, it allows you to go back, way back. You know, there you go. Or jump back and forth. You have auto action here, which is something that, you know, if you import auto action, I don't use these a whole lot, so that's something that if you click on it or use it with a specific shortcut, it'll do a predetermined amount of actions for you, like exporting or doing something with certain parameters, etc., etc. If you can make 3D models, can they be converted to STL for 3D printing? No, you can import 3D models to CSP to use them. So you make something on Unity, or well, not Unity, Blender. You can export it to like whatever extension there is, and you can bring it over to CSP and use it. If you add bones to it, you can also use it within Adobe, within CSP, to like bend it any way you want or whatever, and use it for reference and add its own like set of rulers and stuff like that. Typically, when you figured out the center point. Finally, let's see what else I can show you before I get to drawing a little bit. I think this should be good for now. I think this is a lot of information, but I think this is maybe like a pretty good introduction. Let me move you guys over here. But yeah, do you guys have any questions or anything that you would like to know? How does one become? I'm not. I appreciate it, thank you, but I'm not that great. But if you want just like life advice in general, just do the best that you can do and don't be an asshole and just, you know, try to see the positive side of things. That's kind of like what I could tell you. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anyone else has like CSP related question? Otherwise, I'm just gonna go and move on to drawing. I'm probably gonna go for like 40 minutes to like an hour because I'm either gonna do something. For sure I'm gonna do something later, but it's either gonna be Final Fantasy 14 or something, whatever. But yeah, like, does anyone have anything they want to know? Well, when I was drawing my lines, they look very jumpy when not drawing on the X or Y axis. It might be because I was too zoomed out. Any good advice? Zoomed in. So if you're zoomed in, it'll look like that, but if you zoom out, it'll look like this. Keep in mind, I'm drawing on without a tablet. It'll normally look like that, but that also has to do with if you have like a shaky hand or like a shaky pen, you want to make sure that you have some semblance of stabilization there to help you. If you want your lines to look like stable, you know. Also, one thing you need to keep in mind. So let's go to preferences. Virtual memory path. Okay. Let's go to. Trying to find it. Tablet. Okay. Using tablet service. WinTab tablet PC. You want to make sure that you're using WinTab and use mouse mode and setting of tablet driver. And there's two options. You can choose either prefer quality or prefer speed. Obviously, there's going to be like a delay if you use prefer quality. If you have a tablet plugged in, you know, these are options that you need to keep in mind. Operate with the whole tablet, operating what aspect ratio. There's also Windows Ink that for the love of fuck, disable that. Get rid of fucking Windows Ink. That shit sucks. And use like the Wacom driver or whatever, like Hue on tablet or whatever. Like use a native driver for that specific thing to work on it, because Windows Ink will typically interfere with your work on Windows when it's like to drawing programs and stuff like that. So make sure you have that shit disabled, and it'll keep your and otherwise like you'll be fine. I will take one or two more questions if you have more questions. Write them down while I go look to see what the fuck Potato's barking at. 1 second. Would you warn your tutorial into a YouTube series? I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would. it's an incredible amount of effort. But if you guys want me to do like streams where I talk about specific aspects or you know, how to like maybe use grab a specific drawing that I may be working on or make an entire new drawing based around learning how to use a lot of the features that are available on CSP. Maybe I could do that and then maybe turn that into its own thing. But I like a little bit of patience for making tutorials, and I'm good at talking through things rather than like doing a step-by-step guide, which, you know, it's evident on this stream. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Alright, if we're all good, I'm gonna move over to... Let's see. Well, if we're good on this, I'm going to... close this out. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. All right. Was this the one? No. Cancel. Cancel. Oh, it's this one. Sorry. There we go. All right. I'm gonna turn the AC on again. There we go. Okay. We're gonna work on this a little bit, and okay, Mom, you can go. We can, you know, later, but for now. And I'm gonna go. There we go. I'm gonna move this over here. Clean up my iPad a little bit. Turn this on. Yes, she would. She would absolutely subscribe. Which, if you aren't subscribed, consider clicking that. I can't do that. I can't ironically do it. Never mind. Sub if you want. If you don't, that's also okay. Let me look up for some lo-fi stuff. Lo-fi copyright. There we go. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna do multiply layer. Yeah, this one works. So everyone had a good weekend? Ready to take on whatever next week brings? Or, tomorrow, starting tomorrow brings? Oh my god, go 1 second. I got work later, but I mean, I guess down under is already Monday, right? Sleep is optional. No, if you need to sleep, if you need to rest up because you have stuff to do tomorrow, VOD's always gonna be there. Don't stay up on my account. I know what lack of sleep is, so I would prefer if everyone was able to get sleep, proper sleep. Oh, by the way, so speaking of Final Fantasy 14, so I'm almost done with Stormblood. I'm pretty excited for it. I don't like it as much as Heavensward, but I still like it a lot. It's incredibly fun. It's a little more... I don't know if lighthearted is the proper word, because in some parts it isn't, but it also like kind of is lighthearted in a lot of other ways than Heavensward was. But it is a very good DLC. I heard that Shadowbringers is even better, so I'm excited to see what comes about. Okay, so I'm gonna do this now. Oh, alright. Fair enough. This piece is so cute, thank you. Appreciate it. So let's add some color to it. Let's see if I can get a certain kind of effect better. No, I don't like that. Let's see. That's fine. Now I just gotta work on this one. Okay. I'm just going with the flow, really. I don't really have a theme in mind, to be totally honest. It's like whatever. I'm just picking whatever tickles my fancy. I mean, this is like, what, almost done? I mean, I don't have a whole lot left. I just wanted this to be like a fun piece, and it's not like I was planning anything like crazy with it. Just okay. So I think the main body is kind of done. So what I'm gonna do is okay. I'm gonna merge everything and just paint pretty much. It's not typically a whole lot that's left. Put this in the next lo-fi playlist or something. You know what, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's my keikaku all along. My plan. Just comfy. Comfy times. Clean this up a little bit. Okay. Gotta clean the tail a little bit more. I'm just gonna have it look like kind of sketchy, doodly. Don't want this to have like that much of a like crisp, clean look. Well, I think my self-portrait, as in the character, is finished. Now I just gotta... Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna work on this one first. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna clean the doodle a little. Come on, this thing. Okay. Yeah, that's less annoying. Okay. So I'm gonna erase this. Man, I guess I just ran out of things to say. So maybe talking a ton about Clip Studio got me a little tired. Gotta have one of those things where like I have like a set amount of like not words, but like I have like a limit of like how much I want to talk in a day. And sometimes I just like hit that cap and I just don't want to say anything. And at the moment, it's not that I don't want to say anything. I want to. It's just like I just, you know, I don't want to force a conversation and try to force like hilarious non sequiturs or say funny things like haha booba, and then, you know, like if I talk, I just want to have like genuine conversation. Just can't really like just really focused on this at the moment, and like I can't you know, don't really want to force it. I'm not the type to be like, oh, I don't know what to say, I'll just say nothing. Can't relate a lot. Can't tell if I'm... No, I mean, I think everyone is fine on the server. You know, not everyone talks as often, or you know, everyone has like a different social capacity in the sense of like how often they will talk or respond to something, or if they're not like typically engaged for whatever, like whatever, it should be fine. Like normally I try to be very social on servers and stuff like that, but sometimes like I get saturated, and typically my thing is just like I lock out, and I just don't want to like engage with any, like if I don't, like I'm either talking with everybody or I'm talking with nobody. That's like my two things. And I'll have like one or two people that I talk to consistently though. But I tend to get overwhelmed easily socially. When someone's like writing to me or whatever, and like they're like asking me too many things, or I'm not, well, not in that sense. Mostly like if I have too many people talking to me at the same time, like deer in the headlight kind of deal. Like I'm like, even if I'm like 100% ready to like do whatever, like sometimes I'll lock up and I'll be like, because I'm trying to think of a million different things, like of what other people are talking to me or whatever. So sometimes like someone writes to me and I'm like I want to talk to them, but then someone else, like 2-3 people are talking to me, and I'm like, I need to step back a little bit and just like, okay, and then I respond. Not that I respond right away. It's just more of like, sometimes I need to wait that 10 minutes before I respond. And one thing that I've always disliked about, let's say, one thing I've always disliked is when, like, here's the thing about society. Well, so it's a lot about this society. We live in a society. Get your society jokes out. One thing about society today is that we want things like right away, in the sense of like we want the information now, or we want to get things right away, and I've I understand, because I normally like feel like this when that happens, but sometimes I get really like what's the word, involved in something, and I can't, like, I'm just like focused on something, working or whatever, and I don't like it when when someone writes to you and then they're immediately like if you don't respond within 5 minutes, they're like they get pretty sad or offended. But like, one thing is to think it and another thing is to type it out, and I hate when people just like type shit out and they're like, oh, I guess like I'm sorry to bother you or something like that. I'm like, it's like, you only ever bother someone if you're like in text, if you're like genuinely asking them way too much out of them. So like, I just don't like when people do that. Like, oh, I'm sorry I'm bothering you. It's like, bro, you wrote me already. Like if you were like that concerned about bothering me, like whatever. But yeah, I understand. Like, I feel that way sometimes, but don't, like, if you already texted someone, if they don't respond, it's okay if they don't respond. They have, like, you are not, like, it's not it's nothing against you. Like okay, I'm gonna stop drawing for a second to talk about this particular subject, and it's not as, it's a little bit more wholehearted than you think it is. It's not like specifically about me. It's like, if you write to someone, high chances is that they're okay with you texting them. It's don't worry about it. Okay? Like it's okay. Don't like I can't say don't feel anxious because I get anxious too when I text to anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I always get a little bit of anxiety when I text someone, but it's okay. It's okay to text anybody, provided that you've gotten. I don't want to say consent, more like it's okay to text anybody, provided that you've either never had a conversation with them and you're just trying to like be friendly. Ask them like if it's okay if you text them, or you're trying to find out information. Like that kind of stuff is okay. Don't and be a little more open, I guess, when you type. Don't write don't write hi. That's like if you think you're bothering someone, that will be it. Like that's a clear giveaway. Like if someone writes me hi, it doesn't bother me. It's just I don't acknowledge it. I won't respond. Hi, like I never respond. Anyone that types me hi, unless I'm friends with them, I will never respond. And I think a lot of people too, because when you say hi, you're typically baiting someone into conversation. And also, this is for art from the artist perspective. A lot of people that type hi and they've never spoken to you, sometimes they're either like, hey, you get that like, can we be friends or can we chat or something like that. Like if you write, hey, hi, how are you? Like that's a good way to like get someone to talk. Or like hi, and then state your purpose. Like if you want to talk to somebody, be very frank and immediately like say hello and what you want. Don't ever like bait people into conversations. That's the worst thing you can do when talking to somebody. Don't ever just like leave it at hello, because people won't typically respond. I used to, but I don't anymore. Like don't ever do that. But yeah, like going back to something more wholesome, like it's okay to text. It's okay to feel a little bit anxious. I feel anxious when I send messages to people, but it's gonna be fine. If they don't respond, you're not a bother. Unless you're actually genuinely being one, you're not a bother. It's fine. Just like if people don't respond, don't take it as an offense to you. Like maybe they're busy. Or maybe whatever you said to them, they either can't do anything about it, they have nothing to say, or whatever. But it's fine. Like it's fine if they don't respond. It's not your fault, unless it is. It's fine. Just like it's okay. Like don't ever type like, sorry if I'm a bother, because you're forcing this. I don't want to reprimand you for doing that, because I understand that some people prefer to type their feelings out, and I do that. I wear my heart on my sleeve. But typically, if you're worried about being a bother, hey, sorry if I'm bothering you, but X or whatever, or like, hey, I hope I'm not bothering you. Like, that's a better way to phrase it. But if you text someone and then like they don't respond within like 5 minutes or something, don't immediately type, oh, sorry, I'm bothering you. Just like, don't do that. Like that's kind of like, it's not annoying. It's, for me, I feel bad, and I hate that. I'm very busy, and normally, or like I try to respond as fast as I can, but sometimes like I get saturated socially and I can't talk to everybody at the same time. And so I pick and choose my battles, and like I'll typically just talk with people that I'm friends with first, and then if it's someone else that it's not really high on my priority list in terms of like I'm either not friends with them or just recent acquaintance or something like that, like I try to like distribute my social capacity, because I mean in social media we have like in real life there is no conceivable way that you can talk with more than 10 people. There's no way. And social media has kind of like done that, and like you get a quick response. in real life, like typically you only ever get a response when the person is right in front of you, right? You can't speak to people telepathically. And when you text people through phones before, it was just like, they will respond when they have time or whatever. But unless they don't have their phone right there and notifications like on their phone, like they won't respond right away. And I more than elated when people want to talk to me. And it's not that I'm like getting like this entitlement, right? Like I'm happy to talk to people. I like talking with people and like I get unique perspectives or something like that. But just don't feel bad if like people don't respond right away. That's what I want you to take out of it. Don't it's not your fault. Like don't feel anxious. They're probably busy. And if they don't ever respond, that's okay too. Like that's fine. Don't feel bad. Sometimes like I tend to forget. I'm a very forgetful horse, and sometimes someone will write something to me and I will forget, unfortunately. Sometimes to respond, like I'll read it and then I'll forget and move on. Just because like from your perspective, you also have to understand that from your perspective, some things you do remember, and from your side, but then the other person maybe has other things that they're doing that they'll just like remember, but they won't remember your thing because it's not like something that they were either paying attention to or whatever. So just it's okay. You'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. If someone doesn't respond, it's gonna be fine. You'll be fine. Nobody's gonna hurt you. You are not worthless. You are 100% worth existing. It's fine if someone doesn't respond. It's nothing against you. That's just what I want you to take home with you in this texting thing. Don't feel bad. It's bad manners to tell someone, sorry I'm a bother, because nobody's gonna feel good in this scenario. Neither the receiver nor you, because you're typing something out negative. If you're worried about being a bother, always just like open up with it. Hey, I don't mean to be a bother, or just type it out that you don't want to be a bother. It's like, I don't want to be a bother, like sorry, or just apologize, or just say sorry, or excuse me, how are you, blah blah blah. Just like there's better ways, but definitely like you all, just because someone doesn't text you back, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you're not worth it. You're 100% worth it. Unless just be respectful of others, and you'll be fine. Just like I can't do the heart emoji or like the heart hand sign. Maybe I might have to make that for my avatar, but you are worth existing, and it's fine. It's gonna be fine. So yeah, don't feel pressured about if someone doesn't respond, or if they're waiting or whatever. Just like people have stuff to do, and nothing has to be immediately. Sometimes some of the best conversations take a while. Like I get angry when this also, like on the flip side, if you're having a conversation with someone and they don't let you know that they're busy, or in the middle of the conversation they just stop responding and they take a day to respond when you were like having an engaging conversation. That's a little pet peeve of mine. But sometimes I understand. Sometimes they'll forget they're talking, or they'll move to something, and then when they come back, it's just like, well, it's already been like 5 hours. Like maybe I'll just leave it at this point. But yeah, some of the best conversations I've had is like it's been over the span of days, because the person will take days to respond. They'll respond like once a day or something like that, and it doesn't bother me as much, because I can just I'm patient, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that other person is going through on their day to day, so maybe they're maybe they don't have very good internet, and the only time they could chat or something is when they're at work, or when they get home, or they have 2 jobs or something. I don't know what a person's life is, so I can't. So I don't. I try to think like I try to get myself in other people's shoes when I'm having conversations, so I avoid getting angry. I don't ever get angry. Actually, I get more worried if someone doesn't respond. My first thing, hey, are you okay, is typically the first thing I'll ask. With my best friends, I typically, like, if they take a while to respond, I'll say, like, are you okay? Is everything all right? What happened or something? I'll be the one that gets worried. But, you know, just relax. Like, it's only text. You know, unless someone is like harassing you, like you'll be fine. You'll be okay. Just like, you know, just chill out. And if you want to talk to someone specifically, like, but you don't know if you can DM them or anything, I don't know, if you share a mutual server, or, you know, your friends or your mutuals on whatever, or like, whatever, just like catch them in an open setting first and be like, hey, would it be okay if we, you know, move this conversation to DMs, or like, you know, don't that sounds like you're hitting on the person and not just more of like, you know, just like, hey, would it be okay if I DM you anytime in a while? And if they ask like why, it's like, no, I mean, I just wanted to, you know, just make you friends or something like that. That's fine. Typically, some people will be like, yeah, that's totally fine, or don't ever say that unless you're like already like had plenty of conversations with the persons. But yeah, just like, I don't mean to sound weird about it, but sometimes like the best way to start a conversation in DM is like, if you're in a server together, just get consent from them. It's easy. Just like, you know, hey, is it okay if I DM'd you about something, or would you mind if I DM'd you? Sometimes like even like regular conversations aren't necessary, because some of the people that I talk to the most, we just talk on my server together, and like I don't even have to like DM them ever, unless it's like something that it's between us, or like or something. Like I just don't like I typically like I'll just be talking with my people on the server, and it's fine. Like if I get DMs, it's maybe something that's like an aside or whatever. But also keep in mind, like the less you DM, sometimes the better, because sometimes some conversations, like if you're gonna have like a hello, how are you kind of conversation every day, it's typically better to just like, if it's in an open setting, it's just like, just ask them, hey, how are you? I'm good. You know, you don't really, unless you really want to like, you know, unless you're really good friends with them or something like that, and you want to make it more special or something. But, you know, sometimes just like an open setting on a server or like wherever is fine. Not everything has to be a DM conversation. And it's mostly because a lot of people, well, this is more like of a Discord setting. I don't know if it applies to everything, but it's kind of underwhelming when you have like a shit ton of icons on your top bar, and it's like 9 messages or like 20 messages, and you're like, you don't even know where to start. And sometimes it's just like, hi, hello, and you're kind of like, you know, sometimes just like, just being, you know, if you want to be polite, sometimes some stuff is okay to just say in an open setting. But again, like if you want to be more intimate with someone, and you know, being intimate doesn't necessarily mean that you're like sexually intimate, or like sometimes just being intimate, like I'm intimate with a lot of my friends, but intimate in the sense where like we're very close and we like just have like deeper conversations and stuff like that. So sometimes like if you want to be a little bit more intimate with your friends, like that's fine. Like, you know, you can slide into the DMs, I guess. But yeah, it's like, it's fine. It's, you know, don't ever feel bad for texting someone, because you know what? Sometimes you took the extra step to DM someone. some of them, like some of my close friends, or some of the, good friends I've made lately, it was just like I went like, fuck it, I'll DM them, and I'll figure it out later. If they don't respond, well, the point is I fucking tried. And I want to be friends with a lot of people that I'm on Twitter, and sometimes like I just go fuck it. But I'm also the kind of person that I just don't want to like be like let's be friends, and then we just don't have anything in common. Like I want to be friends with a lot of people, but I also know that I have social limitations. I can't be friends with everybody, and I want to try, but unfortunately, it's hard for me, and I like being very. I like holding people that I'm friends with to a degree of importance, and sometimes like I will genuinely feel bad if I'm not, paying close level of detail to people. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this has kind of devolved into an etiquette, chat etiquette, and just more of like general stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. This is gonna sound wrong. I don't have that many friends. I don't have that many friends. That sounds sad, and even if it's true, any tips you have for how to get better drawing poses and bodies? That's our question, and yeah, sure. Use geometry. You want to use geometry to draw. Well, first of all, use geometry. Like for example, that's a hit. Yeah, no, I consider you a friend. It's not, no, okay. It's not like I didn't want a soapbox. Uh, let me explain what I meant, like, by that in a second. If you want to draw better poses, use geometry to give you a sense of perspective, see, like we have a pose here already. I mean, obviously it looks weird, but use geometry to like help you. Another thing is like if you want to get interesting angles, you can always box it. And for example, you have like we have this box here, right? And within that box, well, I mean, this is terrible. So we have this box here, right? Let me make this a little better. Okay. We have this box here, which will give you, if it was done better, see how it already set the perspective for you. And then you can draw your character however you want. See? Draw boob. yeah. Well, anyways, do not save. Well, anyways, yeah. Oh shit, we're coming up at 2.5 hours. Definitely way longer than I was intending. Yeah, this is I'm just gonna finish off stream. Because there's a few things I want to figure out on my own, blah blah blah, and yeah, I think this should be done. I have some things that I'm gonna do after the stream. Typically, well, not typically. One, have dinner, and then two, I have other stuff that I have a previous engagement coming up very soon. So, yeah. To reiterate, I hope you like. Well, let's move to the living room so I can just chat a little bit more before I have to head out. And I'll keep the chill lo-fi music while we chat. Let me move my thing. Oh, can't have you falling over. Okay. Let's just chat a little bit. Yeah, I just want to like. I hope you guys, for those of you that were there earlier, okay, where did you go? I hope you guys enjoyed the introduction to CSP, and I hope that it was informative. I know I kind of speed ran through most of it. I know there's like a shit ton of questions that you guys might have. So I mean, if you're on my server, like you're welcome to just ask me shit, and I'll try to respond appropriately. If you guys are interested in me doing a specific like stream where like we do something from start to finish, like trying to explore all the features of it, and I can go step by step, I can certainly like grab like a doodle that I've done already. But yeah, and another thing that I wanted to point. Oh, this is something that I wanted to talk about. So I'm thinking of like I have two. Well, in terms of like I like to draw my hands so we're not shaking every time. You can use stabilizers to help you stabilize your lines so they're not like all over the place. Like stabilizers will help you keep a steady hand, and there's a lot of exercises to help you with that. Because my hands shake all the time, so believe me that I've gotten used to keeping like a better pulse. So this is incredibly cool that I want to like see if you guys are interested. I want like I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but I posted that I want to do like maybe Japanese lessons, but not like from scratch, or like I'm not gonna do writing. I'm not gonna do like you're not gonna learn kanji with me unless it's like important that you do learn it. I'm not gonna teach you like it's grammar. Like I'd use the book, the Genki book that I used to study, but I used the first version, the beginner's version, and just kind of like teach stuff, like teach quote unquote, but it's more of like we'll look through it and trying to learn and stuff like that. But I was thinking of doing that, and I think it would be maybe something interesting, and we can start from the start and just go through it, because I would just operate under the assumption that you will be doing your part, and I would teach you how to like use Japanese, not like how to write it or like just like how to talk, and go to day by day. Like the writing stuff, that would be on your own time, and I would just basically show you like how to put stuff together, pretty much. Yes, teach me how to write dojins. Oh, for sure. And yeah, and then hopefully maybe like if you do like your own reading practice, like writing practice, you could probably learn. And I can just do it full in Japanese, so I force you to like learn. But yeah, and based on our earlier conversations, remember that you are absolutely worth it. You are worth existing. Don't worry about it. Everything like if you if you text someone, it's fine if they don't respond. Just think about that. Maybe the other person is just busy. It's never on you. But even besides the point of like just text or whatever, you're always worth it. And like I said, I'm always grateful that you guys hang out and stuff like that. So for me, like, can't do the heart sign on my VTuber model. Maybe someday I'll do it, but remember that I'm not gonna say that you're special, because that's kind of like a lie. Nobody's special. Everyone's kind of the same. But you are, well, you are special to me. My neighbors are special to me. But you are always like, don't ever, just walk out that it's never on you, and that it's not your fault if someone responds. Like, it's okay. And thank you for hanging out. This week there's something that I want to try. I don't know if I'll have time to do it, and we'll see if, yeah, exactly, I'm a special horse and not a pony. I got someone got the message. Someone got the memo. That's great. Crawley got the memo. But yeah, I'll do a game stream on Wednesday, I think. Final Fantasy Tactics. That shit, we got so much left of the game. I want to see if we can move it forward. I will see what else I stream during the week. I will either in the morning I'll decide, or in the afternoon. But maybe I do like another art stream or something like that during the week, and then on Sunday, as usual, it'll be another art stream. And then maybe this week I can start the Japanese lesson. I can do it on Friday, or I can do it on Thursday or something like that. We'll see. Like, it depends really like how my schedule looks this week. This week I will probably be like entirely free. I won't have a lot of stuff to do. But we'll see. Anyways, like as always, like that's why I don't really like having a hard set schedule, because otherwise like I'll shoot myself in the foot, and my mood fluctuates a lot on what I want to stream, when I want to stream. So like I said, I want this to be for fun. I don't want this to be like I'm forced to do shit. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for coming. I hope this stream was informative, chill, that you learned something, that you've evolved as a human being, or like whatever you are. And I love you all. But now it's time for me to just take charge of the rest of my Sunday, all 4 hours that are left of it. So I will walk you guys outside. To everyone that just started today, have a happy Monday, a happy start of the week. To everyone that is about to go to sleep, I hope you sleep well and you wake up refreshed. And everyone that will, or just like, I hope you had a good week, and I hope you have a great start of the week. And I will see all of you on the next stream. Ciao, ciao.